Alright, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor Unchained. So today I'm going to be bringing up a bunch of runes projects or tickers, and I'm going to give you guys a rundown of, in my opinion, some of the best runes to be accumulating in the current state of the market right now. So we're going to dive in right away, so let's do it. So I got one up. We're going to come back to this in a minute. But we're going to start. We're on Ordi charts, which if you guys haven't heard of that, it's kind of just charts, trading view charts for runes. I personally I'm a very technical based, investor. I love looking at charts and, seeing a lot of these really down bad at the bottom is a very good sign, believe it or not. But so we got Satoshi Nakamoto, right off the bat, guys, this, outside of pretty much every other ticker, this is one that I have a lot of conviction in. Even if you got in the first few days when, Bitcoin fees were crazy, sitting at, 8, 9, 10,000 sats per token or whatever, or per mint rather. I have a lot of conviction in Satoshi Nakamoto. Again, there's not too much to this rune specifically outside of, I think it was one of the first 10, tickers ever minted out. But I think just being the profound, creator of Bitcoin itself and runes being on Bitcoin, I think this is going to have some sort of run. I feel like this could be some sort of, similar run to what Ordi did for BRC20s, even though it wasn't the first, rune token, obviously. But I just think the providence of just Satoshi Nakamoto alone can push this. I do like this ticker specifically, this project. I feel like it's overall a great rune to be holding, to be accumulating. And the reason why I'm bringing it up too is because it is literally at a bottom. Chart looks very good. Maybe this comes down another 30, 40, maybe 50%. I don't think it's going to go too much lower from here, especially if Bitcoin is starting to, pretty soon make a new high. If it does, I don't know why this is pink and purple. But so for me, that's number one. That's just on this list here based on volume. It does get a lot of volume every day. It is already on a couple exchanges, I believe. At least, excuse me, at least like one that I know of. So the next that we're going to get into, number 2 and 3 here, which are listed just based on volume. But we got RSIC and Dog Go to the Moon. So, again, I think both of these have a lot of potential, just to be a go-to household rune name, right? I think these 3 alone, I think these could be a great rune allocation for your portfolio. They have been coming down for a while. I just think with Leonidas, how he's kind of run everything with this coin specifically and Runestone and everything, just having it have been such a fair launch. Personally, I'm very bullish on it. I actually don't hold any of these though. Full disclosure, or not any of these. I hold some Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't have any RSIC nor Dog Go to the Moon, but I do like this a lot as well. Like I said, those 3 alone, you could definitely allocate something for, your main majority of your rune portfolio. I feel like any of those 3 or all 3, it's going to be something similar to allocating, like your main bags into, Ethereum, Solana, and AVAX, type kind of idea. If you were going to, allocate into just some top projects that will do well, they just have that provenance based on their tickers. Community knows about these. some of the first to really implement any sort of runes across Bitcoin itself, right? Fihu as well could be one. I think this market cap's like pretty big though, so I personally will be staying away from it. Again, I think they're dropping a lot of utility eventually, which is pretty cool, but I will be staying away from that. Like I said, market cap is just way too high. So I'm going to talk about a few other ones that are smaller caps. I'm not going to go crazy because there are a ton of micro caps that I'm watching in runes, but I'm not trying to call these out on the channel today, nothing like that. But so a couple that I do want to bring up here is actually Weno Moo. So Weno Moo, I like this one a lot. This community is it's pretty well known right now, I feel like, on crypto Twitter, and kind of outside of, I want to call it Rune Twitter, but most people that are in the Bitcoin DeFi space, I feel like they've seen this one, they've definitely heard of Weno Moo, but it's the people that aren't really into runes that I see talking about Weno Moo a lot, which to me is a bullish sign that people that aren't really heavily into runes are seeing this one specifically. A lot of people on the timeline are talking about this one on and off. I really don't know a huge amount of this, but I know they got some whack stuff going on, which is good for a great meme coin, especially on Bitcoin, when you got some whack lore going on. But this is Twitter. Weno Moo runes right here. Meme rune based on a story by Casey. So, there's not too much else that I want to talk about with this one, but this one is definitely on my radar though, and it has been for a while. But again, I'd like to bring it up because this is the chart. It is literally bottomed out, sitting around 200 sats. Market cap, I believe, is around 10 million, so it's still very small. This is Weno on, Magic Eden. I was just messing around, just looking at all these. So pretty interesting stuff. Another one that is very bullish in my opinion, even though it has been running for a little while now, is BAMK. BAMK. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Of Nakamoto dollar. So they're basically trying to make a synthetic dollar. We're gonna type it in. BAMK. Oh, Nakamoto dollar. So BAMK.fi is their website. Pretty interesting because I'm definitely one for finding a lot of utility. Any sort of projects that are really trying to push the boundaries of, especially new protocols like this, I think is very bullish. There's not too much on their site here though. But banking the unbanked with NUST, the first synthetic dollar on Bitcoin. So, pretty interesting concept here to see. I'd like to see when this is really, fully out. They got this stuff running. I mean, I could be wrong. This could already be out right now, but I don't think it is. But anyways, this was kind of interesting though. Because again, Rune's just launched. It is a brand new protocol, and I like betting on, new teams and new development. So this is something I've been watching, but chart-wise though, like I said, this has been running like crazy. Definitely not time to buy this one if you're ever looking at it. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research, especially on a lot of these tokens, if not all of them. I'm not trying to make it a buy or sell signal for this video. Please check this stuff out yourself. But again, I'd say if this can pull back pretty heavily over the next, maybe week, few days, about a week, maybe it kind of runs something like this. That could be an entry, right around maybe two sats. So it could be interesting, but this one's pretty interesting. I like this. Again, they definitely have some work. There's not too much at all, on their site, but I like the idea of what they're doing, So I like to see how this develops over time. But right, obviously with prices and stuff like this is crypto, right? You're betting on basically ideas. So that's kind of why this has been running, and I'd like to see how they actually execute this. But outside of that, we're going to go back to here because there's one more that I want to bring up. Yeah, what am I doing? Alright, so the last one I want to bring up here. Oh, well, two. But one that I had heavily on my radar. Alright, three. I'm not going to lie. Nope, that's not what I wanted to click. Yeah, where is it, though? Right here. Waddle Pangu. Alright. This is a pretty interesting one. I like this one, and I'm going to give you guys a few reasons why in a second. Alright, so they got cute little penguin. Looks like they're kind of branding. Their branding looks like it's pretty good. They got a lot of graphics. They're very active. They have a decent amount of volume continuously, and I think they are building some sort of utility or something, I believe, is coming, but don't hold me to that. But outside of that, this looks like this could really continue to, grow in market cap, just grow in size. And again, with this one, chart has been pretty up over the last, couple weeks here. Or what? Yeah, 2 weeks, basically. But same thing here. This could just end up eventually pumping like crazy, but, this is not a buy or a sell signal. Just showing you guys projects that, have some potential that I've seen. And there are a ton that I'm not going to mention in this video, again, that are smaller in market cap, but, these are some of the ones I just want to talk about today. So this one's pretty cool. Check this one out as well on Twitter. Their Twitter is Waddle Pangu Rune. So let's check the other one or two. So this one has caught my eye. This one has been pretty funny over the last week or two. Mr. Yen, Japanese businessman. I know a good amount of people on my timeline have been talking about this one on and off for a while. So Twitter is Yen Tech Solutions here. Shout out to Mr. Yen, killing it. He loves his son, which is nice. But they're constantly tweeting just, random videos, stuff like that. They're kind of making a name for themselves in the Rune meme space here. This is the kind of content you got to see that can make a killing over time, Pretty interesting stuff. This definitely is a contender for a lower cap meme. I think this is a great one, just potentially hold for a little while. And the chart doesn't look too bad, but definitely has some growth. As long as they continue to grow, and I'd say if they can even up their content, they'd make a killing. I think this could easily be a top meme coin on Rune. Because I'm also a believer that a lot of these, newer runes that are launching, I think they have a ton of potential versus even some of these first runes that are out. Because a lot of people have very high expectations of some of the first ones. But it's like if you guys are not, well, really anybody, if you're launching a new rune or you got a new rune project, it's always good to have a fair launch, very small market cap at the beginning, and just have that organic growth really hit and have people just naturally find out about it. That's the best way. But again, so that was Mr. Yen, Japanese businessman. That is a funny one. And again, that's been on my radar for a while. But I just want to bring up one. I'm not going to call this a good or a bad investment by any means. I'd probably recommend to not buy anything right now in the micro caps that I'm mentioning, because again, they're super high risk. But Dope Grandma coin is kind of interesting. This is a new one as well. But this one I can potentially see picking up over time. It's just community run, dev supported, the granny of the mother chain. Being the grandma on Bitcoin. I'm not gonna say how funny or not funny it is. As a meme, I think it could be a good idea, and I think if they can start creating different content, some more content as well. I really could see this having some potential too. But at the end of the day, guys, most of these are just memes. You got to keep in mind that a lot of runes don't really have utility outside of like the one or two that I mentioned that are aiming to have utility. But a lot of that is going to come down to how they actually execute that and if they can even do that, right? So it's kind of like a different game if you're looking for utility projects on Rune, because you got to stay up to date with how they're doing it, what they're doing, what the team is doing, versus one of these, meme coins on Runes, right? That all they're doing is just dropping content, trying to just get as much attention as they can, right? But again, this definitely, I'm not trying to make this, a buy signal, especially for this one. I don't know. This is just one that caught my eye that I thought was kind of interesting. Because if you guys have seen my previous videos too, I've been looking specifically for, that sort of cult-like community on Runes, and I still don't think I've found or seen anything that can fully resemble that. Like, obviously, I'm showing you guys some good projects that have a lot of potential, but, nothing like that next level that I'm looking for. As of yet. But this is, again, I'm just going on Dope Grandma's website. I think right here, they're just, all it is memes that you can just, save to your camera roll and post and stuff if you want. But, I just wanted to bring this one up because there are so many, guys. Like, thousands, tens of thousands of random tickers. It's pretty interesting. It's definitely a wild market right now. But again, when you're dealing in a speculative space like this, especially on Runes, which I think even Casey, the creator, at some point claimed that most utility on Runes is not even going to be, a real thing. It's all attention based. Whichever coins can get the most attention on the timeline, the most attention on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever, that's going to be a huge factor just to get people into certain coins, to drive price up, right? And like I said, these few that I showed you definitely have some potential, if not a lot of potential. These are probably my more high conviction Rune projects. Outside of Waddle, which is, a little higher up on the chart, might need a dip. Same with BAMK. That one has definitely been pumping. Wait for a dip on those. But outside of that, Satoshi, Weno Moo, I personally believe could be a great start to a Runes portfolio right now. And then obviously if you have Arsic and or Dog, just hold one of these, 2 or 3 of these, and then Weno, and maybe you can speculate on 1 or 2 of the lower caps as well. I'd say for now is a good start. Again, I still think it's going to take some time to see, these real solid Rune projects just, finally stand out. Mr. Yen, like I said, definitely following all the right steps to be a great meme coin. That's definitely a contender, easily in my opinion. But there's so many. One of the biggest things too is, do they have a Twitter? If you're looking at all these, I'd say 80 to 90% of these tickers don't even have a Twitter. So it's, in my opinion, it's not even worth looking at, right? Because the Twitter is going to be the key to any sort of success for the project / ticker, whatever it is. But, outside of that, I just want to bring up some random ticker. I don't even own this. But this is probably my favorite ticker. And it actually doesn't even show up. I think I have to type in. Yeah, I don't know why. I love this ticker on Runes. This would be a top Rune, I swear. If they had a whole community around this, or as in like a full Twitter, they drop some NFTs or something, some ordinals around this, some crazy marketing. I think this could be a killer ticker, but again, I don't know anything about this outside of the ticker. But I like it. I think it's funny. That's a great ticker, to be honest. But outside of that, that's just what I wanted to bring up, guys. Just a bunch of different stuff, bunch of different runes, that I do really think have some potential, going into the next few months here, and especially if Bitcoin is going to pump in the short term here, could be a great time to be adding. And again, not financial advice. Please do your own research. Do not blindly ape, and especially if you're looking on exchanges, you guys have to understand how to read these, how to look. If you wanted to get some ticker, the ticker is ELSA. I'm going to do a real quick lesson here just looking at this stuff. So the way that runes works when you're buying and selling, it's kind of like, picture it almost in chunks. You can't just sell any amount of any dollar value to anybody. Whoever is selling a certain amount of whatever ticker they have, they sell it in whatever dollar amount chunk, and they list it in that one chunk or two chunks if they do two sales, right? So what that means is basically this person has listed their one chunk of 0.04 Bitcoin of this ticker is ELSA, which is equivalent to about 2 million, ELSA tokens, right? But what this also means is that this is listed at 2 sats. So if you're trying to look at it from a perspective of, an entry, we're going to go to ticker is ELSA. I think it was up here. You want to look at price in sats, because price in sats is basically what, the level that you're buying it at, right? So when you got priced at 2 sats here, but then if you scroll down, it's at 2.5 sats. So what that means is, whatever the dollar amount, you can get it at 2 sats here. The other dollar amount is at what, 250. So you'd be buying it about 20% higher, 30% higher. But the thing is the dollar amount of this amount of ELSA tokens is priced at a different, basically level on the chart, if you want to think of it like that. Because like this one here, at around 2.05 sats, this person has listed 3,000 tokens at this level. Same thing here. Even though this is way cheaper, you didn't want to get a bag of 3K ELSA. But I'm looking for a bag at $200, right? Yes, you can get a bag of this for $200, but you have to understand that you're buying basically like 20 to 30% higher, just because this is how it's kind of listed out, right? So just keep that in mind. It's like if you're looking for a specific dollar amount and it's not listed here, sometimes it's best to just wait and see what happens. Because like I said here, you got $1,500 chunks listed at 2.2 sats, 12K chunk 2.3. But like if you're waiting for like a $200 to $300 bag, like, and you want to get it at a lower price, you probably just have to wait for someone to list around $200, $300 at a lower sat rate, basically. So keep that in mind when you're buying these, because it's definitely different than if you're just buying it on an exchange or a DEX, something like that. But yeah, that was kind of rambling, holy moly. But that's what I got for you guys today. Just a few runes that I like I said, I do believe have a lot of potential. Like thus far through all my research, looking at Twitter sentiment, through all this different stuff. So I want you guys to look at all these different runes, because I didn't really go deep into any of them too. But outside of that, that's what I got for you guys today. Definitely check all these out. Let me know which runes you are holding in the comments. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.